met Nicola in a club called the Magnet in Liverpool. I was there watching a band I was working with perform, and Nicola was on as well. And I got introduced, and she was interested in working on a couple of songs, Just Human and Little Fish, which we then went on to record a few months later. Yes, so this album was quite interesting to work on because we'd worked in the past on a few songs, but only with piano and vocal. And Nicola had already done an album, which I hadn't been a part of doing, and my working methods of making sort of really produced music is probably quite different to other producers and stuff, or people on recording engineers out there, because I work with sort of a pop kind of style where things should be fairly perfect and layered, and there should be loads of texture and really working on the song structures and stuff like that. So with this album, we wanted a bit more of that, but there was also a time and money aspect as well, and as well as actually quite complicated songs. So we figured a sort of split the difference approach was appropriate, where two of the songs would be really well produced, sort of with a click track and really layered and a lot of focus being spent on the performances and sounds and textures, etc. Whereas three of them would be more live, have more like a lively band kind of feel. And then the final sixth song, which would be recorded completely live, an actual genuine live recording, and so all six songs subsequently have their unique character, and we also let musicians do their own thing. We let them kind of come up with their own ideas. We didn't really have a sort of set in stone reference, which I normally do, or on a lot of projects I work on, we'd normally have a really clear path. But Nicola's vision was predominantly that it's a piano vocal based thing, not too much guitar, and that was about it. And we let people just come up with ideas, and then as we went along and more people came on board and threw stuff on, that would dictate the next move, and we'd go on and just go along with it. Yeah, so me and Nicola, we met up and she did. We ran the songs through with piano and vocal in her current form, and how she would normally perform them live, and there wasn't anything to change or amend. She's a great performer and great singer, and there wasn't anything to sort of change or improve upon on the songs themselves. The decision was that two of them had a really steady tempo and could really and no changes of key or of time signature or tempo either. So they would be perfect for having a click track. So we made those decisions early on. That two songs were going to be really our focus, sort of singles, if you like. And then we went and booked in Lewis, the drummer, for a day in Vulcan Studio with their engineer in there, and so we played the piano and the drums together. Recorded all 5 songs in there just to get the drums down. 2 of them then had click tracks, and then the other 3 were sort of vibrant and performance. We had to kind of capture a nice drum performance with the piano. And then we got Adam Lewis in a few weeks later, a sort of half a day or something, and Adam really had a completely. He basically came in with an an empty sheet in front of him. There was nothing sort of set in stone for what he had to do. We had no plan. He just came up with some ideas like that, and they were great. And they were really the first sort of stepping stone in where we could really see what direction these songs would take. I mean, the drums had done an element of it, but then this was really the second kind of wave of, all right, now we know what's happening. We then sent the songs to Bobby, who I live with. He's a great guitar player and a friend of mine. We left him to it to just put as many guitars as he had time to put down on acoustic, electric, lap steels on all the songs, just to see what he would come up with. So we left him to do that for a few weeks. Again, we got stuff back that was brilliant that we'd never anticipated to get, and we got other stuff that we sadly didn't end up using because it didn't quite fit with the vibe we were going for, you could say. We also got Harry's, Lewis's brother, in to play some additional guitar to fill the gaps, basically, where Bobby where Bobby where Bobby didn't fit in, and then we got me and Nicola got together and did some synth, which I don't think Nicola really had done much of before, synth and organs and stuff. We basically just really went quite mad and had some interesting sounds and distorted stuff, and we spent about 2 or 3 days doing that. We ended up kind of doing 1 or 2 songs a day, and that was just a complete eye-opener again to how these songs could develop. And then we got backing vocals in. We did vocals, so we had Liz and Jen doing backing vocals. We just recorded as much as possible to cover our ground because we only had them for a day. And then we hired in we had a cello player coming in on a few of the songs. Alex, great cello player from he's Italian, isn't he? And that was, we kind of knew where we wanted cello. That wasn't so much of a struggle. He'd also played live with Nicola before, so it was kind of straightforward. We also hired in a friend of mine to program some beautiful mic. He programmed some beautiful strings for Be Kind, the single, which we had all arranged. Me and Nicola had arranged them, but he kind of made them sound real and nice and gorgeous. And yeah, I added some little bits as well here and there. Spent a lot of time editing everything and polishing it off. And yeah, we were only really working on evenings and once or twice a month. So it took nearly a year to complete this album, because we were sort of meeting up as and when, because Nicola is extremely busy, and so am I, to be fair. And so we were. It was an interesting kind of rhythm or workflow in that sense, but got there in the end. My favourite part of working on this album has probably been the uncertainty of not knowing where it's going, and then the realization that it's working out better than you'd expected, because you haven't prepared. We haven't made demos and had like a map to go by. It literally, suddenly someone would do something and they was like, yep, we're taking that direction now, and then it worked. And some of these songs have really come together really well as a result of that approach, and it's really fresh. So that's been my favourite part. So probably some songs on this record that has got a more signature of mine on them than others. Some of them are sort of straight up live, vibrant sounding, like Too Late and Unplug Your TV. Both of them have sort of got a 70s sound, which I'm a big fan of. So you could say that that's something that directly correlates to my preferences. But more so on songs like Forever and Be Kind, you'd probably really hear my preference is obviously throwing a lot of stuff at songs. I tend to kind of really throw a lot on songs, a kind of a big grand sound. Best described as probably a bit of a Phil Spector kind of thing, where you have a wall of sound, and it doesn't necessarily always have to be super clear and tidy. It can sometimes be a bit muddy and muffled. Not that that's an excuse, it's more like an actual deliberate, because there's so much going on. But also like a sort of 80s reverby, modulated delay kind of sound, so a bit reminiscent of the work of maybe Bob Clearmountain, who mixed loads of famous 80s and 90s records. And you could also say there's a bit of I tend to work, there's a bit of Jeff Lynne sound kind of going on, but not so much on this project because there's not that much guitar. But the tightness aspect of Jeff Lynne might be there on Forever and Be Kind. I also on this project, because I'm a Floyd fan, I do love effects and it's like sound effects and recordings of voices and outdoor noises and helicopters and that sort of stuff. And so throwing some of that in here and being a bit, being a bit ambitious and mad, if you like, at times was really something I enjoyed. Echo is probably the best example of where a lot of madness happens towards the end of the song, and the intro of Be Kind was probably my idea, to have all these effects and stuff. And that's something I kind of taken with me from my liking of Floyd. Yeah, and the high string guitar that you hear there, that's something classic, and the smooth. And lap steels everywhere all the time, because they are great. So yeah, some few bits and bobs. I think the reason for that, I mean, I work well with a lot of people. I mean, that's part of the job description, is to get on with people, that's kind of part of the job. But Nicola is great because she doesn't have this sort of dictatorship approach, like it's my song, it's my this, it's my little baby, I need it to be this. She has to extend in her liking for harmonies and voices, and she knows what level they should all be at, and things like that, and she really knows. It's almost more like she really knows what she doesn't want. She doesn't necessarily pinpoint what she wants all the time, which is great for me because that allows me to kind of just come up with a million different ideas, and she can pick usually the ones she doesn't like. She can say, that one is not happening, this isn't happening, and then we can kind of explore the ones that she didn't really say much about. It can be a bit like that. So she gives me a lot of freedom to come up with stuff without sort of being too, it needs to be my way. And I'm not trying to make it my thing either, so I'm trying to kind of see what she reacts to, and that's probably one of the best things about working together with her, because it's really kind of, it's just a creative little melting pot, which is it just seems to work really well, and there's no egos, and we have had a great laugh. We've had moments of absolute insanity in front of the microphone, recording ourselves doing dog barks and things like that, because we thought it was a great idea to try, because you never know, we might use it, and that's the sort of thing she goes along with, without thinking that I'm clinically insane, and that's reassuring. shittiest wave anyone's ever heard, isn't it?
As you spoke to me of parallel universes, correlations, trees, brains, creations, music, and the world.
Well, I'm working mostly with I work mostly with local bands and artists here in Liverpool. I get a lot of returning clients that keep coming back for new singles and stuff. I'm currently finishing up a few of those for a band called Motel Sundown, great friends of mine. Bobby, the guitar player here, is in that band as well. And yeah, actually, sort of the band members that kind of have been present on this project, I'm working a lot with a lot of them in various shapes and forms and different projects. Yeah, I just do what I do. I make records, and I hope to keep on doing that. Basically, that's short and sweet, really. Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember myself.